Hi, this is Eric Strom with Covering Data Consulting. And I want to talk today about SQL Server data tools and multi-tenancy. So I was doing a demo just today around SQL Server data tools, and a colleague of mine reminded me of how we were planning on essentially having different database targets for projects. And so this brings me to just want to talk a little bit about two different ways that you can vary the code that gets deployed from an SSDT project via your deployment target. So first of all, the way that he was having it set up, and I haven't played with this way as much, but it's definitely worth mentioning. You can actually use database references within SSDT to have, like say you have a common code base for a database, and then you wanted to have some differences between each of your databases. So if there's enough differences between each of your database targets, like different clients, let's say, you can take your common code base and have all of that within your initial SSDT project. And then you can take that project, the build artifact for that project, and you can use that as a database reference in a new project. So, if I had 4 different clients, I could have one common code base and then do 4 different projects, each with a different set of custom code just for that client. So that's one pretty effective way to, track common code base, but at the same time, be able to have some differences. Another one, which is, I would say, if you have a small amount of change between your different code bases, another good one is to use SQL command variables, and then you can turn them on and off using your publish XML. So if I say created one called, client has feature X, right? Then I could take that SQL command variable and I could wrap conditional checks on each, let's say table and sprock that's associated with that component. And then within your publish XML, you then can say turn and off and on, let's say a bool SQL command bar. And so each client would have a setting that would allow for that feature to either get deployed or not deployed. So those are a couple different ways. I really like the way my colleague was going with the separate database projects, because that allows a lot more flexibility, because you can write as much code in a project as you want. But SQL command variables also offer additional flexibility, especially if you wanted to take like a merge command that inserts a bunch of rows in a lookup, and you could vary which rows end up in there kind of based on SQL command vars and kind of switch statements, if you will. So if you're interested in hearing more about some of the more interesting things that you can do around multi-tenancy and SSDT, feel free to reach out and I can certainly help you out. Thanks.